There's something wrong with that.
Damn.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed.
Hit you with the bad pipes routine.
How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my neck.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man rules on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Yeah.
How do you write women so well?
Zoe Williams,
Reason and accountability.
the voice of reason.
At all.
Well, I don't even think we can get into talking about waiting. I don't think you're in a waiting season until you start that preparation process, until you start that work that it takes to be waiting for your future spouse. Just being single doesn't mean you're waiting. You know?
That's a good way to put that.
Yeah, it's not. That's why a lot of people sometimes they're like, God, I've been waiting for like 5 years for this marriage, and you're not doing anything and this and that. And no, God is like, no, you've been single for 4.5 years, but you've been waiting for 6 months.
That's true. Wow.
Because that waiting time is, when you're waiting, it actually takes a lot of work. It's like a lot of preparation.
Working on yourself,
Exactly.
your relationship with the Lord.
Exactly.
All of those
so that's
things.
why I was also asking, like, when did you start waiting? Because that point where you start waiting is usually the time where you got close to God, where you actually submitted that relationship, or you submitted that future relationship to God. And that's when your waiting season starts, when you start to fast and pray.
Okay.
And, that's the waiting season.
So I would say for me then, of the 2 years we were broken up, my waiting season started after a year, because that first 6 months was me kind of trying to reconnect with the Lord. And then that next 6 months I spent in a relationship I wasn't supposed to be in. And then when that relationship ended and I fully surrendered everything to the Lord, and I started a fast shortly after that, where I was fasting from men and relationships in general. And I was just focusing 100% on my relationship.
What about the people who mistake their own understanding for God's understanding? They'll recontextualize their own understanding as God's instruction. What about them people? See, don't play with God. Let me tell you something. Don't play with God. Okay? God, whether you like it or not, loves you so much. If God was willing to kill his own son, you think God ain't willing to put you in the most difficult position you could be in so you can grow spiritually? You still got your life. God will put you in the most difficult space so that you can recognize what is yours to claim and recultivate and recontextualize. It's not like God is asking for your life. God is saying, get on the hero's journey. But so many people will speak for God using their own, what I want and how I want this to be, and will flip it around and say, this is what God told me. No, that's what your ego told you. That's what your narcissism told you. That's what your unrequited childhood wounds told you. That's what your lack of self-knowledge told you. God didn't tell you that. You think God wants you to have honey and bread and milk and all of the finer things of life that was supposed to be reserved for heaven. Well, if I give it to you in trial stone school, how are you going to understand its worth in heaven? Sometimes you got to go through hell while you're in hell, so when you've earned your way out of hell, you'll be able to appreciate what heaven is really about. You want all of the gifts of heaven here in hell. Hell. What is the Hebrew word for hell? Sheol. What does Sheol mean? School. Hell is school. That's why it hurts. I know you ain't ready for this work tonight, but this is what Zoe Williams is on. This is what I'm on. Everybody want the soft life while in hell. If I ain't never heard of cognitive dissonance, that's a huge contradiction all the way around, ain't it? I want the soft life while I'm in hell. I got callers on the line. Let's get my niece in here. Attila from Houston, Texas. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Hey, yo, what's up?
What up, niece?
You out here showing out. You out here just showing out. We doing the evil scientist laugh.
Hey, if I don't do it, who will?
Oz.
Oz is in the building right now. It's Gemini season. You know what it is.
All right, then. Well, I love this topic, obviously. But one thing that came to me, and I think I wrote this in one of the questions, I don't know. I think that sometimes we use pit stops as like bargaining chips for our future relationships. Because, yeah, like you kind of use your failed relationship as like a resume or a badge of honor as proof that you've done work on yourself because you've just been through so much. But that's not really inner work.
Keep going. Keep going.
I mean, all that really shows to me is the way in which we justify ourselves to stay in situations that we don't necessarily need to be in or leave too early. And trust me, I have done both. So I think a lot of us are, and myself included, many times I'm only stumbling on opportunities to do the work through painful experiences. And I want to get to a place where I can do the work and get the revelations without having to constantly be under pain all the time, if that makes sense.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Hey, Attila, we've seen the photos, right? You shouldn't be able to go to Bali and get on an elephant if you're not individuated. I don't want to see you petting a tiger in Bali.
Look,
listen,
they have the malas of the flowers and stuff, and they look all peaceful and just so much light. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, you got so much light, but you still hate black people, though. That's interesting. Ooh. But that's a whole nother topic for another conversation. In the same way that we can have these mind-altering, amazing experiences with people in dating, and it's just such a great first date, and a week later it's over. I wonder why that is.
Do you see what I'm saying? You want to go to the temple, but you don't know how to bring the temple with you to the temple. Do you see?
Well, if we had any sense, we'd know it's within. In the same way that we go to church expecting light to be given to us, right? Like, Christ was very clear. He said, I will give you living water so that you never thirst again.
Say it again.
Right?
One more time. Where are my organs, brother? What? Say, what did Christ say?
He said he would give us living water so that we would never thirst again. But we're out here drinking from dirty pools. Yes. People always say, there's pee in the dating pool, but you out there drinking it, though.
Oh, yes.
Slurping it down like it's a sundae. I mean,
yes, with that soft ice. Come on, let's go.
Right. And so another thing that caught me that I thought was interesting, the video that you just played that I sent you, that was a couple that was explaining their experience as a Christian couple, their journey to marriage. And they had actually broken up for 2 years in between anyway. So what I thought was interesting about their situation, it sounded like Christianese to me. I'm sorry for the Christians.
Christianese? Is that a language that is filtered through Christianity? Talk to me about Christianese.
Like a set of holy words to show that, hey, yeah, we dated, we did it, we made it, and we didn't break God's laws. It's a way to have that coded church Sunday language so that everything that you do is still holy. But, there's an underlying words of real worldness there, right? Real world stuff, that worldly stuff they don't want to talk about. But I'm a Christianese it up so that it still sounds holy.
So it's easily digestible to the listener. They'll understand where I'm coming. Oh, come on, I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, but again, when we're talking about journeys to relationships or journeys through relationships, like I find it interesting that we only speak from the standpoint of I either A, got what I wanted, or B, did not get what I want. Rarely are we really speaking through the turmoil that's happening like in between that time of either yes, getting what you want, or B, not getting what you want. because the turmoil that's in between that time is where the real growth is. That's the soil of your inner work, of your growth. But, we don't want to really till the soil. We kind of just want to like push it to the side and then hope that we come up with flowers later. Like, it doesn't work like that.
So that's an interesting point about getting what you want. Do you think we prioritize getting what we want, getting what we desire over becoming who we were meant to be?
I definitely have. I can't speak for everybody else, but I definitely have, and it created stagnancy. I can tell you that. I mean, like, unfortunately, I think by the time you have the revelation that you've done that is what you've done, that you have been more concerned about what you could get out of a situation versus the journey to becoming a better you. Like, number one, you're probably already removed from the situation by the time you have the revelation. But number two, you've also gone through a lot of pain that probably was unnecessary.
My.
So,
my.
yeah.
We need a praise break. We need a praise break for Sister Attila.
Oh, God.
Lord. My. Thank you, Sister Attila. The doors of the church are open. Ushers, I said open the door, not close the door this time. Open the door, ushers. Attila, guess what you just did?
I brought Houston in the building.
Houston, Texas. H-Town is in the building. If you want to bring your city to the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. When I come forward, the voice of reason going to keep this bonfire going.
Reasons. The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings won't disappear. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
1 2. You ready?
Somebody make some noise in this joint.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again. Holla.
Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast.
Oh my God.
But here we are, still standing, still loving and serving our people as best we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To celebrate our 4th anniversary, we have 4 big events, and you're invited to all of them.
She got a lot to say.
Let's do this.
Let's get it on.
On Wednesday, June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice plus Black Health Symposium. Tavis Smiley will moderate an all-star panel of thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate justice work.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, talk about.
On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There will be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Flip the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are 2 big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is resilience in the face of chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DePrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA.
We love you.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833 That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. The Support Center is your one-stop shop for reentry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
So that's the spiritual aspect of marriage. It's the fact that you have to contend with someone under all sorts of circumstances. Theoretically, is what would you say? It's a manner of promoting psychological, or you could say spiritual growth, and it's genuine. You know, that's why marriage is a sacrament in most human communities, right? It's stamped both by the state and by the sacred authorities.
Wait. Pause that and rewind it. Because people, listen, he's speaking so fast that you might not catch it. Marriage is an environment for spiritual growth. Marriage is relationships. I need you to understand that. It's a relationship. Now, listen, man, it is a self-crucible. So many people are enamored with the Disney iteration of it. They're enamored with social media's definition of it. They're enamored with what they see on TikTok. Oh, this is black love. This is black excellence. Black excellence hurts. You don't become excellent without going through the fire, the transformative fire. That's what fire does. It purifies. The word fire and pure share a common root. The city of Iraq, or the country known as Iraq, has a city within it called Ur. This is where Abraham of your Bible was from. He was Chaldean. You understand? He was from Ur. The word Ur, right, means flames of fire, like you see in the archangel's name, Uriel, the fire of God. Do you understand? Ur is the root word of pure. Oh, flames of fire, right? The word pyramid, pyramidos, fire in the middle, solar plexus. Listen to what I'm saying. You ought to be transformed by relationships, not coddled. Your wounds they should have no sanctuary in a relate. Listen to what I just said. Your wounds should not have sanctuary in a relationship. It doesn't mean that your wounds are to be tormented. No. But sanctuary, no. I'm sorry. No. It takes tremendous fortitude to look at oneself as one is. That's how you begin to melt that wound. You begin to break the yoke of that wound. You begin to break the authority of that wound. Do you understand? There are dark principalities that are in operation within you that should be under your dominion. I know you ain't, I know people don't want to hear it put that way. You hear people say, the devil is busy. The devil in you, Krishnamurti, the enemy is you, not the other. It's easy to blame. Maybe it's easier to blame than it is to claim. Oh, gosh. In an era that venerates relationships as the apex of personal fulfillment, we risk mistaking interpersonal connection for the end game of self-realization. Go ahead, Andy, finish playing that clip. I got to hear it from the top again. Let's go.
So that's the spiritual aspect of marriage. It's the fact that you have to contend with someone under all sorts of circumstances. Theoretically, is what would you say? It's a manner of promoting psychological, or you could say spiritual growth, and it's genuine. You know, that's why marriage is a sacrament in most human communities, right? It's stamped both by the state and by the sacred authorities, because it's not just a physiological union. That's what animals do. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with the physiological union, but it has to be placed in the context of everything else a human being is. And I do think it's dreadful for people not to have that. Yeah. So,
aren't you tired of dating the devil within? Huh? You treat your inner devil, right? Like it's a prom date. You done gave it a corsage. Huh? You take pictures with your devil. You treat your devil like you're supposed to treat your soulmate. I know you don't want to hear it put that way. Then you have conditions for your soulmate when they show up. Don't irritate my devil, because that's the real relationship I'm in. How do you demand that somebody capitulate to your expectations when you've capitulated to the demon within you? It only becomes a demon and hellfire when you refuse to acknowledge it, when you refuse to claim it. That's how you tame the fire within. It's claiming it as yours. That's individuation, right? I'll say it again. In an era that venerates relationships as the apex of personal fulfillment, we risk mistaking interpersonal connection for the end game of self-realization. To start the topic over, it's not, listen to what I'm saying, the destination, it is the revelation. What is being revealed? You. That's the purpose of the road. That's the purpose of the destination. You make the person so big in your life because you've made yourself so small. Wait a minute. No, I think very highly of myself. And yeah, if it's born out of trauma, that's the problem. You've aggrandized your false self. Because if you knew your true self, you could see your true self in others. As Krishnamurti said, when I know me truly for what I am at a foundational level, I know you. Nah, we only get to the point of knowing the preferred behaviors that satiates our wounds. Oh, this is what I will tolerate and what I will not tolerate. Do you see? Yet, when we shift the relationship goalpost from external validation to an internal quest for unity, right? What do you mean by unity? Right? Integration and inner peace, a radical metamorphosis unfolds. The essence of every meaningful relationship transcends mere transactional intimacy. It emerges as an intrapersonal therapy session. Each encounter, a sacred pause on the journey toward self-discovery. That's what every relationship you've ever been in, it was a sacred pause to see where you are on your current level trajectory, on that current, where am I in terms of development? Every sacred pause, every experience, every relationship is like, okay, let's see where I'm at this time. That happened back then, but let me see where I'm at now. I know this is a counterintuitive perspective, and it challenges the long-held belief that our fulfillment solely resides in external bonds. But as Krishnamurti and Deepak Chopra intimate, the path to self-realization is deeply interwoven within our innermost dialogues. Intimate relationship, in effect, becomes reflective mirrors that expose our unacknowledged traumas and unconscious patterns. They must be exposed. And once they're exposed and you observe them and embrace them in non-judgmental observation and empathy, you can expel them through transmutation. Recognizing these reflections not only accelerates our inner healing process, but also creates an environment where vulnerability, which is a wound, is celebrated as the precursor to genuine intimacy. When we come forward, because I know you need a moment to marinate. When we come forward, the voice of reason gonna keep this fire going.
Relationships. Got you confused? Need some straight talk? This is where you get the unfiltered truth about love, relationships, and everything in between. He breaks down relationship dynamics with no-nonsense wisdom and practical advice that actually works. Tackling the questions you're afraid to ask and giving you the answers you need to hear. You're inside the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer is reacting after President Trump said he will look at pardoning the men convicted of plotting to kidnap her in 2020.
I'm very disappointed that they're even considering it, frankly. When the president was shot at in Pennsylvania, I was one of the first people on either side of the aisle to condemn it.
She said she'll be making her thoughts known to the White House, and she hopes what she says will be taken into consideration. EA has canceled its Black Panther game and shut down Cliffhanger Games. The move shifts focus to titles like Battlefield, The Sims, and Apex Legends. EA continues work on Iron Man, Star Wars Jedi, and Mass Effect. And the original Broadway cast of Hamilton is returning for a special 10th anniversary performance at the Tony Awards. Lin-Manuel Miranda, Leslie Odom Jr., and Daveed Diggs will all take the stage next month. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
The Dodgers and the Yankees, two of baseball's most iconic franchises. Their rivalry, once a battle between boroughs, would transition into an East Coast-West Coast affair. Come to Dodger Stadium Friday, May 30th through June 1st for the 3-game series between the Dodgers and the Yankees. Visit Dodgers.com/tickets.
The revolution will not be televised.
What's up? It is Killer Mike, also known as Michael Render, and I'm encouraging you to listen to more, not less, of Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Senator Nina Turner on KBLA Talk 1580.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today, talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
It's never too early to start talking about money in realistic ways with your kids. JP Morgan Chase navigates how to educate your kids now about creating long-lasting, healthy money habits. Whether your kids are in elementary school, high school, or college, now is a great time to start a conversation about ways to create healthy money habits as they grow, ultimately benefiting their financial future. Talking about money in a realistic way to support your kids' lifestyle and dreams, your first banking account geared towards high school or college. It's never too early. Explaining the basics, what you earn and what you spend, building financial confidence starts with getting organized. Learning and practicing vital money skills now will stay with them for life. Tools they will have to stay on top of their finances and achieve their goals. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from Nitsa and the Ad Council.
The Comedy Connection series featuring KBLA's Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, and the alpha male of comedy, Ray Grady. We're going to transform relationship disasters into stand-up material live at Inglewood's Miracle Theater on May 31st at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. My clinical team will disclose all of your dating woes, while the alpha male of comedy, Ray Grady, has hand-selected, supremely talented comedians to roast all of our tragic relationship choices. I dare you to bring your ex's phone number, because Ray, he's going to text it live, and the crowd will be sourcing emojis. Tickets are moving swiftly, so don't hesitate to grab yours at themiracleinglewood.com before I diagnose your dating history as a pre-existing condition.
KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Peak experience, the mystic experience, the oceanic feeling. Feelings of limitless horizons opening up to the vision, the feeling of being simultaneously more powerful and more helpless than one ever was before, the feeling of great ecstasy and wonder and awe, the loss of placing in time and space with, and finally the conviction that something extremely important and valuable has happened.
Yeah, it's a very good thing for a person. Magic moments, in an article I read today, they were called. Well, there is some history here, which I think would be of interest. In my subjects at first, what I stumbled across, this I wasn't looking for, were what I had to call mystic experiences. There were reports of such experiences. And I had come into this investigation with the normal equipment of the normal person of the culture, thinking that mystical experiences happen to one saint, every century or something like that. And here I kept, people would talk to me in the same words as Saint Teresa or Meister Eckhart or some of these other people that I'd read, the famous mystics. Well, I've put it down that way. And but then kept on discovering more and more that these came from many triggers. They came from all kinds of sources, from the love experience or the being on top of a mountain, or just being taken over by music, or somebody going along a seashore and then just going into this state. And I had to generalize it. And furthermore, I had to strip it of its traditionally, historically religious, specifically religious meaning, because it turned out not to be. The peak experiences came from many, many things, many triggers. Once I tried to generalize them as anything that moves, anything that comes close to perfection. An experience of perfection will produce a peak experience. Whether in athletics, in one of my subjects, a young man breaking through with the ball into an open field and then running down the field and reporting in the same words that ancient mystics had used. This was a 17-year-old.
Man, the relationship as the crucible that could help you experience your peak self. Many people see relationship and peak experiences as multiple orgasms, or having an orgasmic experience simultaneously together. We were at our peak then, babe. Relationships are designed to take you to your peak, and it's not comfortable. Relationships are self-crucibles. I know you don't want to hear it put that way, but I don't give a damn. I'm not afraid of you. As Bernie Mac would say, I ain't scared of none of y'all. Hey, let me get my brother in here real quick. Reverend L from Dallas, Texas. Rev L, Texas is in the building tonight. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic, my friend?
Man, I've been all over the place, brother. I've been thinking about
what you said and just trying to acknowledge it and whatnot, for putting it to my own perspective. Because, again, and we talk about this, even when I call in, I hear other people talk about it. When you want to make those changes, it gets ugly. It gets dark. Then when you want to get ready to make those changes for yourself, you got to acknowledge those demons. You got to acknowledge those things. And when you acknowledge them, so that's my point of what I want to just make a little small point about that. Mm-hmm. So when it's so many stages to it, to these demons and devils that we claim, and sometimes we acknowledge them, but that doesn't mean that any work is done. We just acknowledge it. Oh, I'm a messed up person. I'm a bad person. I do this, I do that. And when we're with that person in a relationship, we just stop at the surface. Mm-hmm. You've acknowledged that, okay, you're a bad person. You've done things. We all have. But what are you doing to adjust and change that behavior?
Well, stay with me. Stay with me. In the exorcism rites, you got to name that demon. In order to disarm that demon, you got to name it. Now, speaking on your demon and not naming it, where it came from. See, many people will talk about that demon. Oh, I'm a bad person. I'm this, I'm that. But if I ask you to peel that back and say, where did that come from? And when you got to say, whatever happened in my early childhood, whoever harmed me, when you got to retell it, that's naming it. That's different. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I understand. And that's where again, we see that person, we see the surface of that person, and instead of peeling back those layers and seeing what got them to become the person that they are, we good with just the surface of it.
Because again, you're making great points. Because again, I'm going back to your initial point when they say I'm this kind of person, I'm that kind of person. That's just a person who has made peace with their unhealed self. They haven't done the work, but they have done the work in trying to make other people conform to who they have capitulated to from within. Meaning, this is how I am. This is what it is. If you're going to deal with me, you got to deal with that. You know those kind of people I'm talking about, Reverend. You understand what I'm saying? But somebody who's really trying to crack that code, they're going to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, reliving the creation of that wound. Go ahead.
So that's so getting uncomfortable to make those adjustments and make those changes. And I just see it as a whole, a lot of people are afraid to take that journey with the person that they so-called care about.
Sure.
Because it gets ugly. It gets ugly. Sometimes I'm not going to be the caring and considerate type person because I'm having some issues I'm dealing with myself. But are you willing enough to go through the storms, the real storms of wanting to be with this person or even trying to become better for yourself? A lot of people want to grow, but they want to wear them same clothes.
I'm walking right with you.
You can't wear the same clothes.
I'm walking right with you because you're making great points. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not worth going through a storm with you if you're not willing, right, to do that internal work. Now, if you want me to just ride out your behavior and, this too shall pass kind of thing, I'm not up for that. If you say, walk with me through my process as I unburden myself of these things, then I'm with you.
Yeah. So also, what you just said right there, think about this. I'm going to put a time frame on it. I'm going to give you 6 months. I'm going to give you 3 months. I'm going to give you a year. It doesn't work that way. These are things that happen before your watch, and you're trying to help that person get to that journey along with yourself, because you still got to work with yourself on certain things. And I think that's where a lot of times we look at it as like, I'm going to give this person this long. It's like you mentioned earlier in the months about seasons, the seasons that we go through. And sometimes people, they leave before their season comes, and then they got to start the healing process all over again.
Stop right there, because you're cooking, and I got to give context. First off, just because people spiritualize the wording, oh, this is my season and this season, and I'm out of that season. Let me tell you something. Technology has crept into spirituality. So a season is based on the convenience that technology has brought to our lives. Ooh, I know people don't want to hear it that way. Oh, wait a minute. What you don't understand about healing is there is no time limit. There is no time, because don't nobody know when they're going to get over something. But because technology is fully integrated into our lives, we put people on a healing schedule. We put people on an understanding schedule. That's because that's technology's effect. Computation has sped up. And what is technology for in our lives? It's for convenience. It's to make life easier. So now we apply the technological framing around relationships. Let me tell you something about spiritual commitment. Commitment means I am committed to the process. Oh, Zoe, are you saying stay in a toxic situation? No. I'm not telling you to stay with somebody that's abusive, somebody that is narcissistic, somebody that refuses to heal. But if somebody comes to you and sincerely and earnestly says, I'm on the treadmill of me and I'm not going to get off until I can help us make a better we, man, these type of people are very hard to come by. Does that make sense, Reverend?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, it's toleration is easier than transformation. Ooh. So these people, they that's completely like what you just mentioned a second ago. Are you willing to go through this journey with me? Are you willing to go through these type of things along with fixing myself and working with you? Do you have the patience to go through that? And a lot of people, they tolerate that. They tolerate, yeah, I'll go ahead and go through it, but time something doesn't go their way, or time something that they feel like the time, like you said, technology. Technology has put a clock on us where it's like, I need to be married by this time. I need to be in a relationship. I need to have this. I need to have that. Man, that's not your time. Like, and they speed up your seasons. It's only 4 seasons. But if you really look at it, people put 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons at one time, and now you're out of whack. You completely out of whack, and you starting back over, and you bringing those same demons, air quotations, you bringing those demons and devils into the next relationship, thinking that the next person is going to fix you, or it's going to be better over here, and it's not. Because guess what? You're the problem, and you refuse to sit in your own self and get in that dark, nasty place and see why these men keep leaving me. Why does this woman keep stealing from me? Why am I going through all these different things? Why am I going through these storms when you're creating your own storm yourself?
Come on, man. Come on. Hey, brother. You know I ain't got nothing but love for you, man. I've been missing you, brother. You done came in here and tore this thing down, man. Do me a favor. Let me know what you just did.
Man, brought big Dallas, Texas in the building.
Come on. Dallas, Texas is in the house. Listen, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. When we come forward, guess where we going? We going down to the sticks.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
The following is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways with the purpose of soliciting sales of vacation ownership. For complete details, please visit fvgradio.com. If you want a 100% complimentary stay at a luxury resort in Cancun, airfare not included, then Family Vacation Getaways is your ticket to paradise. See website for complete details. We're giving away 5 days and 4 nights to the first 50 callers who can name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. An animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. Do you know it? Call now, 800-868-6431, 800-868-6431. You're also eligible for an exciting bonus vacation to Orlando, Florida for just $498. And don't worry about anything ruining your plans. We can extend your travel up to 18 months. Name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird, and get a complimentary Cancun resort stay and an optional bonus vacation to Orlando for just $498. What are you waiting for? Call 800-868-6431, 800-868-6431, and give us your answer. The proceeding is not a contest and is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways and not sponsored by this program or its affiliates.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
In your work, you quote Nietzsche quite a bit. His line, "He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how." What do you think he meant by that?
What I think?
What do you think he meant by that?
The same as I am intended to convey to my readers and students, that the vision of a meaning ahead of someone, a meaning in wait for someone, to be fulfilled by someone, that this contributes most than anything else under equal other circumstances for survival.
Meaning is the most important thing in our lives?
Certainly, because what I call a will to meaning, the wish to find and to fulfill meaning, is the basic motivation in human beings.
Well, this certainly runs counter to much of the determinist notions that are being bandied around these days, as man is a machine, man is a computer, man is a product of instincts.
Man is something like a rat in experiments, psychological experiments. Of course, you're right. But not only against the so-called deterministic concepts of man, but also regarding the motivational theories of certain psychotherapeutic systems.
Let's talk for a minute about logotherapy, which arose.
Man, this show has been completely it's been off the rails. Let me get my final caller in here before we get up against it. It's been off the rails. Davy Lee, Arkansas, is in the building. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic, sir?
Yeah, what's happening, man? Personally, man,
is it Arkansas or Arkansas?
Heck no, that's not no Arkansas. Even though we close to Kansas, that ain't it right there.
I'm just testing you now.
I know, it's all good, brother. But I just wanted to say this, man. You know, my grandmother and my mother always had a saying, you know, once an adult, twice a child, and I see why. You know, people use they childish man. There's nothing wrong with the spirit of a child to keep yourself fruitful, but at the same time, you know, people hold on to their dirty laundry and their soul and their mind, man. You gotta unpack all of that stuff out your mind in order to be clean for your next flight. So you know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know, in reality, man, like I think it's like 1 Corinthians, you know, there's a verse that says, you know, I spoke as a child or whatnot, you know what I'm saying, I thought as a child or whatnot, and I did childish things. So you got to get away from these childish things and become a man or a woman for real, you know, and it comes with discipline and, you know, standards and principles, man. You know, you got to have, you know, just a way of life that's beyond your childish ways, man. Or you're just not going to be able to grow past who you are to get to what you want to be. Well, that's all I got to say.
But wouldn't you say that even the scripture says, you know, out of the mouth of babes, and, you know, that child heart is something that we need to maintain. Can you imagine maintaining the childish innocence while at the same time being a fully realized human being that is comfortable in their skin? These are the things that the clip was talking about with regards to meaning and the will to meaning being the greatest purpose of a human being. That's what we're trying to cultivate. And fortunately and or unfortunately, it's through the lens of relationship where we get this knowledge. It's just that we don't know how to organize it.
It's just about being understanding from what you're teaching me. You got to let stuff live. But in order to, you know what I'm saying, I think that context, what you were talking about, is about being pure of the mind like a child is. Not just being childish, you know, not being a fool, you know. Because children don't know no better. That's why they do what they do purely. An adult knows, and they don't care.
Wow, they got intent behind their mess. Listen, guess what you just did, Davey Lee?
I brought y'all to the sticks, baby.
Hey, man, we love coming down to the sticks, my brother. Next time, bring some crawfish with you. Listen, the voice of reason is always on fire. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. Ain't nothing but love. We start the conversation. It's really up to you to finish it. Listen, man, I love y'all. And just continue to support the show. It's going to continue to grow. And I hope I grow with you guys. Nothing but fire. You don't have to agree with anything I said, but I would like for you to continue the discussion. I'll be back Monday. Am I off Monday? No. Okay. I'll be back Monday with a whole new slew of topics. But listen, I better see everybody from Los Angeles at the Miracle Theater Saturday night, 7 p.m. Me and Ray Grady and all my clinicians will be there. All the comics will be there. Come through. It's going to be fire. Go to themiracleinglewood.com and get your ticket.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says Newark Liberty International Airport will get a new telecom system